Are we live?
We are.
Separated by cosmic cabinets, Brandon, Paul, and Logan are broadcasting the Nintendo Stuff podcast using their telepathic powers. My name is Brandon Miracle, broadcasting from the Break Room Arcade. If you look, I'm assuming, south of me in the video version, you'll see Paul Anderson broadcasting from my basement. He's south of me in multiple ways right now. If you look to the right of me in the video version, you'll see Logan Welliver broadcasting from his apartment. And if you look to the bottom right of the screen, you'll see our guest, ConMenRDW. Welcome to the show once again.
Hello, thanks for having me again.
It's so it's funny because like we were gonna have you on because we weren't gonna have Logan, and then like half an hour before we got set up, Logan just was available again. So now we're all here today.
It's a party in the break room.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it worked out for the best too, because if it wasn't for Logan, we probably wouldn't be live right now.
Yeah, we've been having some fun on the back end today. If you're new here because of a certain 50 fact extravaganza, welcome. You might know me as the announcer. And you might know Logan as the other announcer.
As Morty.
Logan's been called Morty, Carl Weezer, and I think a few other things.
Carl Weezer, I haven't heard that one.
I think I didn't see the Carl Weezer one, but I think I like that one better than Morty. Because, you know, I've said this to you guys before, like, I wasn't trying to be Morty. What I actually had in mind was the DJ from, I believe it was Fallout 3, where he's just, like, uber shy and, like, just, like, the antithesis of what you think a good DJ would be like. And so that was my main inspiration, though after it happened, I was like, oh, we're going to get Morty references. And
well, regardless of what
didn't
happens.
stutter enough.
When I received your audio, I definitely thought Morty first. So personally, I agree with the comments.
Regardless, I need to get a Mr. Rossetti amiibo stat.
So I think I've been called Frieza, Charles Martinet. I still don't get that one. I've been called Professor Layton, and not even because of the comment in the video about Professor Layton. They just said I sounded like Professor Layton. Professor Oak is another one.
Right.
I've been called so many people in the video, I don't really know what to believe.
Yeah,
it's better
actually,
than I got.
I was thinking about the Charles Martinet one because it's not like Mario Charles Martinet. It's probably Runner Charles Martinet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I was doing was inspired by Xander Mobus.
Right. Actually, this is funny. I went back and I started watching, like, the original 50 Fact Extravaganza, and there's probably a lot of bias in here, but I definitely like your announcer voice more. I thought it was a better performance.
Well,
Aw.
I'm flattered. I personally like Xander Mobus more, but that's because I don't want to toot my own horn that much.
It's understandable.
Man, all I got from the comments was told that I photoshopped stuff wrong.
It's like the Waluigi L was the only mistake.
Those visuals were on point. That whole video was very well done.
We spent a lot of time making sure that we adequately adapted the assets that currently existed. I kind of melded Smash for Wii U and Smash Ultimate, and then Paul took what I did and then made all of the number facts, or like the fact splash screens that we had, which I would then animate.
I made that really bad Kirby.
Disgusting.
Oh yeah, the Kirby too. Yeah,
I'm
we
really
were
proud of how that turned out.
As far as production on that video, we had Logan working on my audio. I was animating and editing everything, and then Paul was passing me off the fact numbers. Overall, really good experience, and like the first video that we've all worked on together, at least to that degree.
Right.
So good job,
When
everybody.
your powers combine, that's scary power.
And since the beginning of the week when it was uploaded, it is now the second most viewed video on our channel, and currently approaching #1.
It feels good. It feels very good.
Yeah, for sure. Especially after all the work that we put into it, it's nice to see that people were enjoying it. But we have some real Smash news to talk about this week. Some real, some not. But let's start with what we know is real and talk about the Smash blog like we do at the beginning of every Nintendo Stuff episode.
The Smash blog is real? I thought it was a joke site.
And for like the first time since Greninja, and Greninja may have been the first time on its own, we have actual news in a Smash blog post. For the first post of the week, we have Luigi. He can jump higher than his brother Mario. Up special, the super jump punch will gain maximum damage and launching power when hitting the opponent right at the start. It truly is a special move. He also uses his new Poltergust for his throw.
Really?
What they did show in the video, and I'm very salty about that.
Well, the thing is, like, they uploaded all of these videos the day of the E3 Direct.
Right.
I may or may not have watched them several times myself. But yeah, it's kind of neat for them to integrate Luigi's Mansion a little bit more into his moveset. Because before it was just his final smash. And then before that with Brawl, there was no Luigi's Mansion in his moveset at all.
Except for the level.
Yeah, that's all we had.
So I think the thing that confuses me the most about this is his super jump punch doing maximum damage and launching power when hitting the opponent right at the start, like right at the start of like a match?
Right at the start of the attack.
Oh.
He's always had that property.
Oh,
yeah,
see,
it's still
I didn't know
stupid.
that. I'm
Sweet spot.
You know, I should preface to say I'm not a kind of Smash player who, and this is like my roommate, right? My roommate's like, oh yeah, like all these, like these technical aspects of the game, all these non-intentional, you know, aspects of the fighting game. And so like specific stuff like this, like I've never taken notice of. And I think I'm finally like getting to a point where I am taking notice of it and I'm diving into it, considering we talk about it every week. But
Every day, to be honest.
Yeah. So I that was my confusion, right? I was like, at the start of what? So
here's the thing I want to know with this. Like, I'm assuming that for Poltergust, it has a little bit of range to the grab. I really want it to, like, when you're trying to recover, suck you to the stage.
Well,
if you're close enough.
Here's the thing about
that would be really cool.
We don't know if it's his grab or if it's specifically, like, part of the throw animation. In my mind, it would be cooler to have it, like you thought, as a grab.
Yeah.
Because it would be the most unique grab in the game.
Yeah, I'm imagining that he can just suck him up and then just use the Poltergust to just spit him out in any other direction.
I'd be really into that, honestly.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Just that idea makes me more excited for this than just like, oh, hey, it's part of the throw.
Like, that simple touch might make me use Luigi a little bit more, to be honest.
Now, I can't remember if I was reading this on Reddit or where I was witnessing this conversation, but people were looking at the Japanese version of the blog post to see if the blog in Japan distinguished between grab and throw. Mm-hmm. And it also specifically mentions throw and not the word they actually use for grab when it comes to Smash in Japan. So at this point, I'm inclined to believe it's just part of the throw animations, which is still great. It's a nice touch. But if we can actually get it as the grab, I think that's the extra mile I'd like to see it go. And we wouldn't even be having this conversation if they hadn't told us this in the first place. Like, this is not something they ever had to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I am satisfied regardless of what the outcome is. I think the only other grab that I can think of right now that had like extra animations attached onto it was Peach. Because now Toad will jump in and assist with the throws.
Oh,
I didn't know about that. That's cool.
Yeah, he'll appear and kind of like bump his booty in whatever direction that the opponent's being thrown. Much like Luigi does in his key art. Yeah. Toad doesn't get enough credit. Next post of the day was today's item. The Pokemon Ditto originally was supposed to be in Melee, doing this exact thing. Ditto will transform into the fighter who threw the Pokeball when joining the fight. After the transformation, Ditto will have the exact same abilities as the original fighter. So essentially, you essentially get a clone of yourself that gets to fight alongside of you.
I really like that.
The fact that
the first time they show this off.
How long is it gonna last? That's what I'm curious about. Because obviously,
Long enough.
like,
I'm sure there's a time limit on it.
just lasts the entirety of the match.
It would be cool if, say, it lasts like 20 or 30 seconds. If you manage to get a KO on the Ditto, that you get a point for that.
Yeah, I was thinking would Ditto just count as an assist trophy since it's that intricate?
Yeah. No, I definitely think that's the way it should work. And also, on Reddit, I keep going back to Reddit, but the thing is, I saw people having a conversation about what the fighting team is going to be in Ultimate, and someone brought up the possibility of a Ditto fighting team.
I'd be so into that.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a throwback to the fighting polygon team from Smash 64, where the polygons were just, really basic polygonal versions of the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Just Miis and Dittos everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if they just throw all of them in there? We get Miis, we get polygons, we get
the wireframes come back.
Those weird orb color things from
the alloys.
Yeah,
let's combine a couple of them together. Just like take an arm from the alloy, the wireframe body, Ditto right arm.
I was really disappointed with the fighting team in Smash 4. I don't feel like the Miis were super representative of what the fighting teams are supposed to be, which are clones of the base roster. And that's not because, I just like Miis or anything, because I love the Miis. I just don't think they were the right role in Smash 4.
I didn't feel like they were diverse enough.
Wasn't enough chaos.
Yeah,
and
they so much more represented in like fighting styles, and then this time just 3.
Yeah, they definitely didn't represent the whole game, which is what I think the fighting polygon team or whatever fighting team you have should be doing. Right. And that said, like if you look back at Melee, there were only 2 wireframes. There was Captain Falcon and there was Zelda. So it's definitely been worse than the Miis, I think. That said, I do have a soft spot for the wireframes.
The wire homies.
The wire homies, yeah. And also now that I think about it, the fighting polygon team was like a pinkish purple. The wireframes were pink, and Ditto would be pink too. They have a throwback.
I
want a Ditto wireframe. What they're
actually gonna do, but I mean the fact that Ditto is in here at all, I mean maybe Sakurai is gonna surprise us, right?
Yeah, maybe we'll just fight assist trophies instead of a team at all. Or just a team of assist trophies.
Ooh, that'd be really interesting.
Waluigi made it, except he didn't.
Waluigi's only here for you to kill him. It's his only role.
It's more involved that way.
But let's move on to the next day. We got today's music. You can now listen to Lost Painting from Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Okay,
doesn't it resurrect memories of obtaining the Chrysagrim? I don't know what that says in the game. The version is an arrangement of Tetsuya Shibata from Unique Note. Give it a listen using headphones too.
Is this one Fire Emblem?
Dream Drop posted this one in the Discord, and we were all raving about it because it's kind of a bop. It's super upbeat, but it's got this like dance beat behind it. Like, this might be one of my favorite pieces that they've released to date.
Honestly, when I first started listening to it, I wasn't even so sure I was listening to a Smash arrangement. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming from someone who doesn't really appreciate the Castlevania franchise, that song had me drawn in. And there's so many other songs that they said they pulled to get on that one stage, like 30 other songs.
Yeah, over 30 songs for Castlevania alone.
Yeah, that's just those 2 songs that they've already shown us. I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of those songs are going to be.
And when you listen to them, you can definitely understand why all of the composers that are working on Smash were excited to get, some time with these songs, because they're all really good so far.
They're doing work.
So let's bring it over to the next day. We got today's stage, Green Hill Zone. The concave landscape and blue point marker are iconic to this stage. The point marker will twirl when the ball is hit, dealing damage to anyone nearby. The ground can collapse after attacking, so be careful.
I did not know that this wasn't in Smash Wii U. That this one was
because the Lost World stage replaced it.
I don't know. That's like a weird choice to make, I guess, because like I thought my understanding was they had some more like exclusive ones from like, you know, mobile, like Nintendo DS, Game Boy titles in the 3DS version, but like these games came out on the Sega Genesis, you know, which is a home console. That being said, I'm glad to see it back because I remember this stage very fondly from Brawl. I was also trying to see if there was like how many like visual differences there were, because there's a lot of things that like I just didn't notice, and that's probably due to the standard definition of the of Brawl, you know.
Yeah,
it's not a glamorous stage, but
it's also trying to replicate that 16-bit look pretty closely, I think.
Right. Yeah. You can see some of the flatness, and though you can see some of the lighting effects, and it looks pretty cool.
My question is, because in the background on that loop-de-loop, you know, during the stage, you'd have Tails, Knuckles, and Silver go past, and now Knuckles is an assist trophy. So is Alfonso going to show up when, you know, Knuckles is in play?
Please? Ooh, true.
We got Alfonso wearing the light shoes.
Yeah, that was our other consideration.
Costume like Knuckles.
That was our other consideration when I wasn't gonna make the shows. We were gonna have Alfonso replace me.
I kind of miss the stage from Smash Wii U myself. Like, this isn't one of my, you know, obviously this isn't a competitive stage or a legal stage by any means, but this is one of the like hazard stages that I had fun playing on.
Right.
So I'm glad to see that it's back here.
It's its own very unique landscape, the way it kind of like sinks down and then curves back up.
The only change I really want to see in terms of mechanics, the stage breaking in the center, there was like some kind of collision issues with that in Brawl, or it wasn't very clear when certain things were collidable or grabbable. So I hope that makes a little bit more sense in Smash Ultimate.
Well, I hope they don't fix that because, you know, it adds character to the stage. It's nostalgia. I need them to leave it in for nostalgia.
If it's not broken, I don't want it.
Oh, man. Yeah, let's just, like, port games over and just, let's not fix the issues. Because, you know, people have, like, an emotional attachment to the brokenness.
Well, think about it. Like, Ocarina of Time 3D, that was actually a deliberate choice with that game, was to leave all those glitches in. So, it's not unfounded.
Right.
It speaks to my... Its brokenness speaks to me because I'm also broken.
Dreamdrift says the stage has bugs like the Sonic game, so it's true to its origins.
Savage. Jeez. Speaking of another franchise with troubled origins and troubled history, we got PacMan.
And troubled stages.
Yes. This fighter appears in both his classic form and his form with hands and legs. We have to make sure that people know that. He has many unique special moves, such as using a trampoline or a fire hydrant. For his final smash, he grows into a giant Super Pac-Man, chomping and launching his opponents.
That Pac-Land stage
needs to go.
Yes. Give us the Pac-Man maze. Why would you not give us the maze?
It's on 3DS. Why would... that bothers me so much. It did have 3DS unique features, like with the ghosts and not everybody being able to see it on their own screens, which is cool. But that didn't stop them from bringing the new Super Mario Bros. 2 stage to Ultimate, which also had 3DS exclusive features, you know, with the different screens. So just give me the Pac Maze, because that is more of a Pac-Man stage than Pac-Land.
Yeah.
It's what everyone thinks of when they think of Pac-Man.
Not that stage, like it infuriates me every time we end up on it.
And the game itself that it's coming from is such a niche pull too. I
appreciate Sakurai going to those kinds of lengths, but and you know, the stage is goofy. The problem is that it's really just not that fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
more stressful than anything else.
There's one section in particular that like I will always die because I just assume that like there's a platform where there isn't.
Oh, it's like you're having issues with foreground, background.
Yeah, well, it's just like green and it extends like to about where the stage would be, but it's just a drop.
There's
Every
also
time
like
I play it, I die.
there's also like a pool of water that you can't swim in. You just fall through it. Why?
We
Fun
can
stuff,
swim.
man. Fun
We
stuff.
can swim.
Well, let's get a little bit more niche, actually, with the assist trophy, the final post for this week. It's Nikki from 3DS Swap Note. The host of Swap Note on the Nintendo 3DS system joins the battle. Her drawings all look very cute, but they still do serious damage, so be careful.
This is amazing representation. I love that they did this.
I love this a lot. If you look at the image, too, she draws stuff, like it would be, or like they'd appear in, 3DS Swap Notes. So just kind of like the black outlines, similar to the PictoChat stages. But the one thing I wanted to point out is the fact that Nikki sits in the foreground, like non-existent from the stage. It's like she doesn't exist on the stage; she exists in front of it, which is reminiscent of 3D. And I think that ties it back to the 3DS a lot more.
It adds depth.
Yeah. So cute stuff. This is definitely like a niche pull for an assist trophy, and I like it when Sakurai goes, kind of deep into Nintendo history for this stuff.
It's a sign of time's past.
Yeah, I think I maybe
It's not even that old.
I think I maybe opened the swap note at like twice.
I don't think I actually even ever opened it.
I used it for a while. The problem was that you had to open an entirely separate application with its own loading screens just to reply to messages. The feature itself was cute. It just, like, the accessibility wasn't there. It took too long to get into the application and actually send a message or read a message for it to be useful, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with a lot of things, and like, if it takes a few extra seconds, like you're much less prone to actually utilizing something like that, and especially for something that's so inconsequential, like, like I'll wait 5 minutes for GTA Online to load because I'm gonna have a really great time, but like for a swap note app, all it takes is a few more seconds, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I could be doing other things.
It's like me waiting an hour and a half for Red Dead Redemption 2 to install yesterday.
Same, except this morning.
It was worth it, though.
Yes.
So that brings us to the end of the Smash blog and to the namesake of today's episode. If you don't want to be spoiled on any potential leaks, you might want to not listen for 10 or 15 minutes. Bye, Paul. So this, good Lord, when did this come out? Tuesday, I think?
Yeah, it's like we're 2 days into it or something like that.
So
Wednesday?
There was pictures of a Snapchat story posted in a Discord, which then got shared across the internet, of a dude claiming that his friend, worked at a printing company, and they were printing promotional materials for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I'm going to say the characters that are in the image, so if you don't want to hear that, just mute it. We won't talk about the character specifically until a little bit later, I think, but just be warned. So we have, in that image, Shadow the Hedgehog, Ken, the Chorus Men, Banjo Kazooie, Gino, and there was more.
There was like 7 characters including.
There was 7, so I'm missing 2. Isaac and Mach Rider.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right.
So 5 newcomers, 2, well, presumably 2 echoes. We don't know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all in presumably a complete version of the banner artwork, which he was cutting out, which looked like it was going to go on a circular, like, ceiling drop-down thing that would have all the characters going across. People are also saying it could have been a wristband for a special event.
Yeah, it looked, I mean, you can't really tell how far away it was, except for the fact that in one of the pictures that shows, like, the what I think is a wristband. I think it is a good guess at what that could be, because then you see the receipt right next to it, so you kind of get a sense of how like large
Right.
it may be. So I think that checks out. But again, like this would have to be like pretty elaborate if this was a leak.
There are also some more layers to that make that even more complicated. In addition to the character banner, there's also a banner that is just Final Destination or Battlefield without any characters on it, which is an artwork that up to that point people hadn't seen before. That said, it has just come out like yesterday. There did exist artwork of that out in the wild before. It was at some event that they were demoing Pokemon Let's Go in the picture that the person posted, and in the background was a big like Super Smash Brothers Battlefield like wall art.
Right.
So that exists somewhere. Right now, people are trying to figure out if they match up. But the biggest thing, weirdly, the biggest thing, is the inclusion of the Grinch. There are Grinch promotional materials also in these pictures. Before, people had said they had never been seen before, and there are also people counteracting that. I can't tell you for sure whether or not that's true. But there are Grinch promotional materials also in the image. And that's what gave this leak the name, the Grinch Leak.
Okay, good thing that's what they're referring to, because I was about to say, why would the Grinch be in Smash Brothers?
No. It's why did the Grinch steal Christmas or steal Smash Bros in this case?
Yeah.
Sakurai's Thunder.
I would totally play as the Grinch, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I've been thinking a lot about how people love to name things, right? Because we love to have like a definitive way of like defining something. So it's not just another Smash Bros leak, but it's a Grinch leak. It's kind of how like people race to like name the next generation, and like there's like a lot of money in that. So I just thought it was funny that everybody was like, what could we call this? It's like, oh, obviously there's Grinch stuff. And that seems, at least in a certain way, to add legitimacy to the idea that this is a real leak and it's not false. So I don't know. I mean, at this point, maybe they should just add the Grinch, last minute
please.
to Smash.
Hear me out, though. What if we get rid of the Waluigi Assist Trophy and replace him with the Grinch?
I mean, honestly, same diff, to be honest.
They're almost the same person when you really think about it.
Waluigi just lives in his cave and looks down at the Smashville, at all the Smash characters celebrating the release of Ultimate.
Yeah, no. The Grinch is an echo of Waluigi, but Waluigi himself is not a character.
At the very least,
the Grinch is
replace. I would take them replacing Waluigi with the dude from Lazy Town. I'd be so into that.
Have to pay respect.
Oh, this just in, guys. Alex Gins in the chat. He's got that hot, fresh leak for us. He says the Grinch is an assist trophy. Sakurai just told him.
Whoa.
We also got some opinions going in the chat about whether they think the leak is real or not, definitively. Like Benjamin King says he thinks it's real. Now here's the big question, because I am forever a skeptic, and I wouldn't bet money on whether this is fake or whether this is real. Well, one, I'm not a gambler, but I don't know. I feel of all the leaks, this one seems the most plausible to me.
It's just the fact that people have done background searches on it, and it's super, super legit. Like, they said they traced the company that the poster was found in, found the person who works at that company, found that he works there, and then they just did a whole bunch of cross searching.
Yes.
And things are lining up very, very
It should be noted that this employee of this agency, this company, has denied that he has leaked.
In addition, the company themselves has said that he hasn't worked there for 2 years.
Hmm.
I would expect the employee to deny it, but for the company to also say that he doesn't work there, that I'm willing to believe.
Now, here's the other thing. Just because his name exists within the shot does not mean he is the one creating those things.
Right now, I think the impression is that if this is fake, that somebody's impersonating him.
It's just doing a good job. This was taken on a Snapchat for one. Like, this wasn't just any regular picture. This was someone whipped out their phone, went to Snapchat specifically, posted it, and then people stuck the Snapchats together. So it's just a lot going on here.
It's very multi-layered. We should also note the people in the chat are also mentioning this. He does still work for a printing company, just not the same one. And the one he works at now has no available notion that they have worked with Nintendo or Bandai Namco, as to where the one he worked at previously did have a relationship with Bandai Namco. And I think that original company has also said they haven't done anything for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate specifically. So as many stepping stones as there are to this being real,
there's so many layers.
I feel like there's just as many at this point that are, saying it's fake. The thing is, though, like the forethought that this would require, if it is fake, you get props from me. You did a good job.
Mad research.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, if this is fake, they just deserve applause at this point.
It's crazy how much that this doesn't happen with any other game in the universe except Smash Brothers. No other game that I know of has so many people trying to make fake leaks and hype up people unnecessarily and get everyone's hopes so high just to wait for them to officially announce stuff. Don't get people's hopes up. Like, we all want Shadow and Banjo Kazooie and Ken and Chorus Kids, but don't hurt me, man. Stop.
Yeah, well, this is a pretty okay. Let's assume for a second that this is a fake leak. This is a pretty safe list, to be honest.
I'd take this.
Pretty safe list in terms of
a good portion of it is safe, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, what isn't safe?
Banjo Kazooie.
Oh, well, I think it is safe though.
I'm not saying it's out of the question. I just don't think it's happening.
That would be like, if I had to vote on which one would be least likely of all of that, it would be Banjo Kazooie. Because it has a lot more
don't say that, babe.
work that goes into it. I'm not saying I don't want him. I'm just saying it would require a lot more work because you have to have other companies cooperate with you.
Well, except so Microsoft came out months ago and was like, "Oh yeah, we want Banjo and Smash." Like, they're okay with it. I'm pretty sure it was from whatever.
It was Microsoft CEO Phil Spencer.
Well, I wanted pizza,
Xbox,
but I had tacos for dinner,
CEO.
so we don't always get what we want, Logan.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
and I could imagine that they had already, because obviously they decided on these characters way before, they even announced the game.
The assumption right now is that December 2016 or 2015, one of those 2 years would have been the line at which the character roster was selected.
Right. So, I mean, and that being said, it seems like even in the past few years, a lot of these companies have had a better relationship. And so I could imagine that at any point, they'd look and see, oh, well, Banjo-Kazooie is something that a lot of people want. And so maybe we should at least, reach out to Microsoft and see if it's a possibility, right?
I will say that, of all the possible third parties, Banjo is a lot higher on my list in terms of plausibility.
I think if anything,
a lot more characters. Or go ahead.
I think if anything with me, it's just the amount of that are in this leak. It's the most characters we had at once revealed since the game was announced was when K. Rool and the Belmonts were announced, and we had 5 characters announced at once.
Yeah.
And 3 of those were echoes, but this one is 4 of them are new.
We got some good comments in the chats. Nikolai Gordon just said, "My niece works at Sakurai and says that Inuyasha is in Soul Calibur." You got me good with that one. I don't think it's out of the question to have 7 characters announced at once. The reason people are not buying that is because Sakurai has said, and a lot of us know this, that they don't have a lot of character reveals yet, and they're going to kind of slow down. And I was just about to mention that, Benjamin. Sakurai sometimes lies about these things. In fact, Sakurai will deliberately say something that is false to temper expectations, only to then have a leg up when he surprises us later. I don't want to say that's evidence, because it's not. It's just an assumption. Do I think there's 7 characters left in the game? Maybe.
And
I
also,
think 7's a reasonable amount. I mean, but then I also don't know anything about game development.
I was saying, if we were about to get all those characters, each new character, we have to get a new stage. Like, we'd have to get Spiral Mountain for Banjo. We have to get a lot of characters.
Yeah, I would assume there would be like a stage for Mach Rider, and we'd need a Rhythm Heaven stage. And people often misquote Sakurai in this, but during the August Direct, he didn't say there was only 103 stages. He says we're at 103 stages, or we're up to it. And that's just how many stages he was willing to reveal at the time. I don't think that's our final number. I don't think it's much higher than that, though. I should.
Yeah, because that's a lot of stages right off the bat.
Oh yeah. Let's see. So we mentioned that the company that he worked for initially has come out and said that he hasn't been there for a couple of years, and they're not working on stuff for Ultimate. Today, I think images and video from Comic-Con in the UK came out, and at the Nintendo booth for Smash Ultimate, I guess they were like setting up a tournament bracket or whatever with the registration table. On the registration table, I kid you not, was promotional artwork, pamphlets for the Grinch movie.
Stop that.
I wonder if they got that like as a joke, just to mess with people.
I don't know.
That'd be so amazing. Or like maybe the team behind the Grinch brought them to Nintendo. I could see that.
I could see it too.
I don't know what's going on, man, but this is gonna be a really weird Thanksgiving movie week.
If this is a leak or a fake leak, and the person was trying to add depth to this with the whole Grinch thing, they may have also been considering the fact that Nintendo's teaming up with Illumination to make the Super Mario Brothers movie, and Illumination is the team that's working on the Grinch film. So there is already a tie between the two companies right now. So it's not out of the question that they would be cross-promoting each other even a little bit. So I think that's worth noting.
True. I didn't even think about that, but you make a good point there.
Well, I would assume that after the Grinch, Super Mario Brothers would be the next feature that they work on, if they're not already producing it.
I was about to say they probably should be working on that now.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. In addition, let's see. So we talked about Banjo Kazooie and kind of what we think about them in terms of validity. I think the only other ones worth mentioning are Mach Rider and the Chorus Men. I think Shadow, Ken, Isaac. Was there any others? I keep forgetting. Those 3, I think, are pretty safe bets. Oh, and Gino.
Yeah.
In my mind, those are all happening as of right now.
I would be very, very surprised if Ken didn't make it in as an Echo.
Where's Majora's
Mask? He needs to get in.
The Echo Fighter. And then Chorus Men. I mean, there was this evidence that they were supposed to be in Smash for Wii U, or that there was supposed to be some kind of Rhythm Heaven character.
This is the first time we've heard that about Smash.
Now, the leaker could just be using that because it sounds believable. That's certainly possible. In fact, after the leak came out, there was artwork found for the Chorus Men that lined up with the artwork on the banner, only to then find out that the artwork was recreated by somebody else and then posted around the internet.
Okay.
So we have...
Okay.
I've never seen a debate for a leak quite like this. We have people at each other's throats about whether or not this is real or fake. This is even worse than the ESRB leak, in my mind. Yeah. I mean, the whole leak is just a Photoshop Little Mac.
I mean, I hope there's no actual violence, stemming from this. Like, I hope nobody's like hitting each other. But I mean, it's a divisive leak, and I think, it's because there are so many factors into it, and I don't think anybody can really say for sure whether it's fake or not. There's just a lot of like conjecture, discussions as to why it might be fake, but then again, there's a lot of supposed legitimacy, and at a certain point, like, it's either fake or it's all real, and only time will really tell.
Well, given the situation here, as soon as one character is announced, we will know if this leak was real or not.
Yeah, I was about to say, we're not. It's going to take very long.
We will, because we have artwork.
It's not going to take very long for us to find out.
Even if that artwork was faked, like, and they get one character right, it's probably not that hard to get one character right. So I would say,
that doesn't make the leak true. That just makes the guess right.
Well, that's true.
It's less than 2 months. True. How many times are they going to take to announce characters? I'd guess at this point just one.
We're getting something, I think,
and we'll know.
Saying like in the second week of November, or something like that. So we have not that long before we get something out of this.
If they show us, if the next character, let's just say that the next character announced is the Chorus Kids. If the artwork for the Chorus Kids on the banner doesn't match that of the banner from the leak, it was fake. I mean,
right.
That's it. So it only takes one more reveal to find out what's really going on here.
Right.
You get a wild screwball.
It'll also be interesting because I feel like, I mean, we might get, like, if this leak is real, we might just get all of these at once. Like in like mid-November or something like that. Right?
I anticipate the next time we hear about a character, we will hear the rest of the roster, just
That's
with or without this leak.
Yeah, because there's not a ton of time left. It's not like I don't anticipate that they're gonna do like, 2 directs, in the next like month and a half.
The other thing you have to consider too is, Sakurai wants all the characters revealed before launch, but you also have to consider that review period, which could be anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks before release.
Right.
So if we don't know anything else before the second half of November, I wouldn't know what's going on. I would actually be concerned.
Right.
Honestly, the funniest timeline is we get another character reveal, but it's Skull Kid, and then everyone's just thrown off.
Like not even one of the 7 at all.
Sakurai would do that out of spite. I could see it.
One of the big arguments. Go ahead, Logan.
Another theory is that Nintendo intentionally leaked this, but they leaked an incomplete version of it, like a version that they were never going to release, right? So let's say like Skull Kid is a character for sure, right? And they just left him out of this leak to throw everybody off. Because then the next character they reveal, it's Skull Kid, and they're like, that leak was fake, even though it was technically real.
Well, here's another theory, though. What if they sent this artwork to a bunch of printers and all of it's just a misdirect to see if anyone would actually leak it? It's a test.
That'd be something.
And that group failed.
I feel like Nintendo is like, there's got to be like a small team of people who are like, okay, here's the leak team. This is how we deal with leaks. So they'll like intentionally leak certain true information. I mean, partially to just like fuel discussion and discourse and this kind of thing. Because like that's good marketing, when everybody's talking about it, then
I've theorized for a long time that a lot of the leaks that we get were just intentional.
Yeah, so
like the Mario and Rabbids leak, I'm almost positive that was intentional.
Right.
Hey, yeah. Joe, good work. I like what I'm seeing. And can you leak this on the internet for us? Thank you. Keep up the good work, man.
No, they do one of these things. They look right into their eyes, like, don't leak this. Don't. Whatever you do, don't leak this to the internet. Don't let anybody know this is a thing.
We're going to have to fire you.
We're going to
assign you to another team. It's a promotion, bud. You earned it.
We're going to get the Smash Direct. And the very beginning of the Smash Direct is going to be that Snapchat video. But at the end, the camera's going to turn around and it's Bill Trinan. And then Reggie
so many
fires him again.
timelines, man. There's just so many things that could happen.
Yeah.
No other game but Smash.
And then quickly to touch on Mach Rider, Mach Rider was one of the retro characters considered for Smash Melee, alongside Excitebike, and eventually we ended up with Mr. Game & Watch as the retro rep. So like I feel like Mach Rider, despite being a weird choice, is also a safe choice. So I don't have much to comment on that one. Though I am excited at the idea of a character that operates entirely like on the back of a motorcycle or some other vehicle. 'Cause we don't have that in Smash right now.
Yeah, there's just Wario, and it's just that one move.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we get Mach Rider, and he is just on a bike, and he only has one move.
As long as he can taunt while on the bike like Wario.
No, that's actually his one move. Is his taunt.
Nikolai in the chat says, "Daddy Bill, he did it the whole time. Those clouds in the background, donut grease stains." That is a very deep reference. If you guys don't get that,
nope, I don't get it.
I'll explain it later. But it's related to Bill's original firing. Also, Dream Drop mentions apparently Mach Rider is a woman.
Yeah.
Fake news. Just like Metroid. Metroid's not a woman.
So, here's where I stand on the leak. I don't have an official position. I can't tell you if I think it's real, and I can't tell if I think it's fake. Well, this is honestly how I feel.
Same.
It's just given the nature of leaks and the elaborateness of this situation, I just can't say one way or the other.
Okay, but here's the real question. Okay, there is if you had to bet on it, okay, and this is a bet of like life or death, so it's not like you can be like, like I'm totally cool being out like $100, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Paul's life is on the line, okay, and so Brandon, your decision whether or not you are going to claim this leak is true or false, and if you get it wrong, Paul dies.
And then I just send you an image of that meme where like the hand comes down on the button, except the button says fake.
So if you had to choose a side, what do you think? What are you leaning towards?
I'm leaning towards fake.
I'm leaning a little towards real. I don't know.
See, I lean
more of me is more optimistic than trying to deny.
Mm-hmm.
Paul,
what's your stance?
I believe parts of it are probably going to be like accurate, but I think overall the leak itself is a fake.
I think it's real.
You're on.
Real.
Okay.
I think we're getting it. I think this is happening.
Well, there's a twist.
So we're right down the middle, 50-50 between the four of us.
Yeah, I think this is the final roster. I think come December 7th, I will play exclusively as the Course Kids.
Benjamin King in the chat says definitely real. Tell us in the chat, everyone. Give us your position.
This can't be the final roster though, because there needs to be the Break Room Arcade Me Pack.
Oh no, that's DLC, you goon.
That's still not the final roster though. If there's more they add later.
So I should clarify, if this does end up being real, I am more than happy with the outcome. Yeah, that's fantastic.
And also, Paul will be dead. So.
Let's see.
Put it on my headstone. It's all Brandon's fault.
Like and subscribe says weird that there's no Pokemon. That's one thing that people are saying against.
That is really weird. Yeah.
Nikolai Gordon says, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. As someone who was there for ESRB, I'm going all in on Real. I was all in on Real for ESRB, personally, but I'm not fully sold yet on this one. Aiden Healy says, leaning a little bit more towards Real. And I don't think we have any more positions yet, but seems like people largely are saying that they think it's Real.
That, and I think I'm just like really, really hopeful that Banjo makes it in, because I feel like
I will be a Banjo main in a heartbeat.
Like,
I want Banjo so bad. So Banjo was my dream character for Smash for Wii U, but after Wii U's DLC was done, I had pretty much all given up completely on that ever happening. So if it does happen, I will be incredibly happy. And I'm a big Banjo Kazooie fan, and I don't actually know where you guys sit there. Have you all played Banjo?
I've played a good chunk of Banjo, so I mean I'm familiar with the gameplay. I enjoyed it. Honestly, one of the only reasons I was thinking about even getting an Xbox at any point was because of Rare Replay and that wonderful, wonderful collection.
Very nice set.
Banjo and Kazooie define who I am.
My parents didn't love me when I was a kid, so I never had an N64 and never got a chance to play them.
Okay, well, I think it's clear, even if you haven't played Banjo Kazooie, that at least in terms of the states, the United States, Banjo and Kazooie have a pretty strong staying power. I'm curious what the opinion is in Japan. Like, are people big on Banjo in Japan? I don't know. So, Benjamin King says Banjo's literally his dad.
Yeah, so we should talk about. There was a Game Explain video touching on some footage from Ultimate. The first live footage we got of the what stage? The Rainbow Cruise stage.
From the Wendy's Tailgate Tour trailer?
Yes. And then also the unidentified item, specifically.
Right.
Which, as best as Game Explain could figure out, they think the item is from Golden Sun, which would which would add more legitimacy to the idea that Isaac from Golden Sun is going to be in Smash.
Honestly, like, this isn't an official Nintendo video, and you can very clearly see the item. There is not a lot. What is that? No, it's fairly clear that you can see a little orb. It's green and it's got a leaf in it, and it's incredibly close to the icon from Golden Sun. I am 100%. That's a Golden Sun item.
So every time that they have the Smash game at a demoing thing, every single time the game's been repatched and the demo's been repatched each time, right?
I don't know about every time, but it has been at the very least updated to the event date. But I don't know if the contents have been changed. And despite these things being in this trailer, it's still the build that people have been playing at the Tailgate Tour.
Yeah, because if that's if it's basically the same build that we've been playing, well, clearly it's not because there's a new item in there. But that's like interesting that they keep they're adding new things apparently, and this is like a very specific thing that has been added.
Well, that won't actually be part of the build, because also in this trailer are playable characters that aren't playable in the build, such as Richter. And Yoshi.
True.
So, and the Tailgate Tour already started, and they're still playing the same character set that we've had. So I think this is just someone who made a mistake.
Whoops.
That's where I stand on it. Yeah, I don't see any reason for them to be playing a version of the game that has items that we haven't seen before. But what do you guys think in terms of this being Golden Sun related?
I don't really have like a really a frame of reference for Golden Sun. I've never touched the game personally. I definitely would like to if I ever got access to it, but you know, it's just not high priority for me, especially since I just got Red Dead 2, and that's gonna take up a lot of my time. So I don't really know. I generally trust Game Explain. They've proven time and time again that they kind of know what they're talking about, and again,
and this is what people,
yeah.
this is what the people on Reddit think too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To back that up.
Yeah, I really need to get my hands on a used copy of Golden Sun and play it on my Game Boy Player or something, because, like, I really need to know what the hubbub's about with this one specific game.
Yeah. So
it's like it's specifically called the Sprite from Golden Sun. I'm getting ready to take a look at the picture. Oh yeah, that is without a doubt a Golden Sun item. I'm looking at an image right now.
I mean, I don't recognize it from anything else, so
I'll post it in the chat for everyone to see.
I'll believe Golden Sun.
So, I mean, time will tell whether the leak is real or not, or partially real, but then ultimately fake. And it seems like there's a legitimate, informed consensus among those who would have a knowledge that it is an Isaac item, a Golden Sun item.
It's an Isaac item.
But again, like, just because there's an item or an assist trophy in the game doesn't mean there's a character in the game. So even then, it's like we don't know. Though it does seem plausible, more plausible, that Isaac would be a character, a playable character, because there are items in the game.
I mean, he's also appeared previously as an assist trophy in Brawl. It's not entirely unfounded that Golden Sun would be represented in Super Smash Brothers. It's had 3 games, for crying out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So what, would you like throw this on the ground and a tree comes up like Villager, or?
In terms of what the item would do, let's see. On Reddit, some are saying that there are spirits in the game that act like stickers. Oh, they think it could be like a collectible item.
Okay.
I'm not seeing so much an idea as to what it would do. It does work to cast the psi energy called Growth, or you cast Growth onto the sprout.
Oh, apparently in the chat, Alex Gimson says it would make a vine ladder, and Dream Drop says they're large vine-like plants with thorns or something like that.
So that'd be interesting, an item that just creates a ladder on the stage. Now that we have ladder attacks, the leak's coming together, guys.
But I mean,
what if it's all figured out?
What if it's just to clear out the gutters, though?
Oh yeah, I mean,
has anyone done that on crap? What is it? I'm brain fart. Mother 3, the Earthbound stage. Has anyone been on those gutters?
Are you talking about on it?
Yeah.
Mother 2, my boy.
I don't know what Mother 2 is. I know what Earthbound is, though.
Well, that is the majority of the Smash conversation happening this week. There's not a whole lot more to really mention. Like I said, my official stance on the item is that, yeah, that's Golden Sun. I'm very confident that that's just a Golden Sun thing. And whether or not I think that means Isaac will be in the game, the answer is yes, because I already thought Isaac was going to be in the game. Do you
Looking
guys
forward.
concur?
Sure.
Looking forward to playing Omega Rainbow.
Why not?
Rainbow Cruise.
Rainbow Cruise. I want to play on Hazardless Rainbow Cruise. But that's going to do it for the Smash topics, I think, for this week. We went a whole hour on Smash alone. Not a ton of extra news to talk about, but there are some things worth noting. Really quick, today, Resident Evil 0, and Resident Evil 4 were all announced to be coming to Nintendo Switch in 2019.
Sold.
Yeah, sold.
I'll play 'em.
I love Resident Evil 4, so That's all I needed to hear. Can anyone verify that Logan's still here?
I'm here.
Okay. It's been so long since you've spoken, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just haven't had a ton to say. Now, I will say this is I had bought Resident Evil 4 for the GameCube with the intention of playing it. And I just never, I tried playing it, but it gave me the same frustrations as it did like the first few times I tried it. I don't know why. I think it might just, the game is really slow, right?
Which is essential to the gameplay.
Right, and that makes sense, but it also can make it kind of frustrating for somebody like me to really get into the game. And I'm not sure that it coming to Switch is going to make me want to play it that much more. But I don't know. I really don't know. I think what really trips me up is I don't care for some of the, I would say, archaic control schemes that the game uses. Specifically with,
stop and shoot.
Well, stop and shoot, like, not so much, but, like, the fact that, like, okay, with your left joystick, you're pushing forward, and then you're also turning, instead of having, like, the modern, like, dual stick controls.
True. I mean, you have to consider when Resident Evil 4 came out as well.
And I understand that, but I wonder, they didn't change that for the re-releases on like PS4 and stuff, right?
I don't believe so.
See, that's one of the things that really keeps me, and it's funny because it doesn't bother me so much in like something like Metroid Prime, but also Metroid Prime is a very different game, and the locking mechanism.
It's also a first-person shooter, not
right. So I don't know. I even if it had modern controls, I'm not sure if I'd be able to do it because I have the same kind of like feelings about like Resident Evil Revelations. It's like I don't know if I can get into the gameplay, and that's a rare statement for me to make, right? Because usually the gameplay itself, unless it's
it could just be as simple as that Resident Evil isn't for you.
I mean, that's true. That's very true. But I don't know. I feel like I should just push through it and do something difficult. But like, again, it's not something that I'm really all that want to continue trying, whereas I could be playing other games, that kind of thing. It's like you only have so much time, in a day, and when it comes down to it, you got to spend it how you feel like you should.
My backlog is already 3 games deep.
Only 3 games deep?
I've got Starlink.
Weak.
I only got to play Starlink for like 5 hours since I bought it. Soul Calibur, I bought the day before Red Dead Redemption came out, so I've only played that for like 2 hours, maybe 3.
Yeah, I think my current situation, I'm a lot poorer than I was. Hopefully that doesn't last for long, so I've had to make some actual decisions in terms of what do I keep, what do I get rid of, and I cleared out a little bit my back catalog. Things that I'm like, I'm never going to beat this. Like, I bought Dying Light because I'm like, I really want to play through this game, and then I was like, honestly, I'd rather play Dead Island, Really quick, I want to acknowledge Smelly Jelly in the chat. He asked a question concerning Joji, and this is music, and I'm not going to discuss this on the thing, but I will take a moment to plug our Discord. If you guys have not realized this, we have a Discord. We are active in discussion. We have a music channel in there, so if you would like to discuss that in there, please post some stuff in there and just join our Discord in general to talk about all the great things that we are talking about now.
If I could toss in my 2 cents on the Resident Evil subject, I'm just happy that Nintendo Switch is getting all of these games that Nintendo fans potentially missed in the earlier generations of gaming, like the PS2 era, because we're getting all these Final Fantasies next year, and now we're getting all these Resident Evil games, which mostly I've never played. And this is a great time to like play catch up on like a generation that I've missed. So I'm probably going to end up getting Resident Evil 4, maybe Resident Evil 2, unless if I don't play the remake. But like, yeah, this is a great time to be a Nintendo fan.
Yeah, just getting
for
this
sure.
back catalog is fantastic. Like, I really look forward to playing through Final Fantasy VII for the first time, you know, because I fully intend on buying that on my Switch. And if I enjoy that, I might purchase some of the other games that are also coming to the Switch from that series. Resident Evil, I mean, it does make a more compelling case to purchase these games. And so, like, again, like, these are all just good things that are happening. Like,
Switch is quickly becoming a system that you can play anything on. So many re-releases, so many old games. It's kind of like you're all in one machine right now, as far as the landscape of video games is concerned.
Yeah.
Moving us forward, we got a new feature for Pokemon Go, which I thought was pretty interesting. It's called Adventure Sync. This is posted by the official Pokemon blog. Exploring with Pokemon has never been easier, with a new feature coming soon. Adventure Sync can record your walking distances even when Pokemon Go isn't launched, working in the background to tally your distance, earn candy, and hatch eggs.
This has me so salty. This has me so salty. This should have been something that was in the game at launch. I don't know why you couldn't have done this.
Can you blame them for it being here now?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm glad it's here, but I'm like, I can't believe it took them so long, because like I didn't feel like there was ever a reason not to. Like I'm gonna be walking around
to sell you a $30 peripheral.
That's it. But like, it's still maddening. But this adds another reason for me to like go back and keep playing Pokemon Go, which, I mean, the user base is growing still, you know. At a certain point it'll hit like, you know, over 100 million monthly active users, and that's a huge user base.
It comes with some extra features too. Adventure Sync will deliver a weekly summary where you can see your incubator and candy progress, as well as important activity statistics. Check in via your trainer profile to see the number of kilometers recorded for that week. Earn rewards each week for each milestone you cross, and receive push notifications when your buddy Pokemon has found a candy or when an egg is about to hatch. You can opt into Adventure Sync at any time, and the feature will connect to both Apple Health and on Apple devices and Google Fit on Android devices.
So helpful.
So good. I think this is a fantastic addition, and I'm glad that it's finally here. Honestly, like, this is all leading up to Pokemon Let's Go. Like, Pokemon Let's Go is on the way. They know that they're going to have a huge swarm of players. They already have. And that number's just going to get bigger. So it's time to fully employ some of these things.
Yeah, any quality of life changes they give to Pokemon Go, I'll gladly take.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy Pokemon Go as it is right now, but hearing all this just makes me even more excited to just, you know, have Adventure Sync installed on my phone and just pop it in my pocket and play Pokemon Go without even having to think about it.
Yeah, this will be great for hatching eggs for sure, because that's one of the most tedious things in the whole game is hatching those eggs. So
and having
if you can just do it automatically, it'll be great.
Oh yeah,
and that game drains a lot of battery, so being able to have it go in the background instead is really gonna increase the amount of time I can play it, you know.
But that's not the only Pokemon news that we have for this week. For all of you paying attention to the Pokemon sphere of news, I guess, we know that Melton, the mythical Pokemon, has recently joined the Pokedex. And this week, we had another episode of the Pokemon, of the Professor Oak and Professor Willow show, revealing to us that Melton can evolve into Melmetal. When a bunch of Meltons melt into each other, I guess, they become this huge, hulking unit.
That's a good term for
absolute unit.
I gotta be honest, I love this design. If I had that on my team, I'd feel confident about everything.
I think I might like its design more than just Melton's. It's just so much cooler. I really, really enjoy it.
He's a
It's
tank.
also,
that
it's really
hulking
funny
mass.
to see in the context of Let's Go too.
Yeah,
Oh, 'cause
seeing
of how
that
big it
hulking
is?
mass walking
Yeah.
behind a trainer is insane.
Yeah.
I saw somebody describe it as like it looks like your trainer is like running away from Melton.
He weighs in at 1,763.7 pounds.
Hold on, I need a reference to that.
That's
Yeah, I
almost a
need to
ton.
see how much that thing weighs compared to other Pokemon.
He does also have a unique physical steel type move called Double Iron Bash.
Heavier than Snorlax. Snorlax is supposed to be 1,000
Wow.
pounds.
But less than who?
Groudon, probably.
Yeah, some other like massive mythical legendary Pokemon.
So yeah, Double Iron Bash is a 2-strike move. I don't necessarily know what the advantage to that would be unless both moves could land a critical hit separately. That's the only thing that comes to mind. But still, I think it's a cool Pokemon. I'm glad to see that it's here, and I love the way that they've kind of introduced Melton as a whole over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Did they say that Melton's gonna start off in Let's Go, or will you be able to catch it and go, and then bring it to Let's Go and evolve it in there?
It has to be caught in Go and then transferred over.
Okay.
And there's a whole process for that. There's a mystery box item that you can get. And when you use it in Pokemon Go, it causes Meltons to just spawn around you infinitely for like X number of minutes. And then you can transfer all of them over to Pokemon Let's Go. And I think you also have to evolve it in Melmetal before you transfer it over as well. I don't know if you can do that in Let's Go itself. But still, a neat little system that they've kind of developed for that.
Definitely.
For the sake of time, we're going to skip a couple stories here. Nothing too huge. I will mention this one. Nintendo has teamed up with the Institute of Play to bring Nintendo Labo to schools. This comes from My Nintendo News. They've teamed up to bring it to schools and to elementary classrooms nationwide, combining the innovative play of Nintendo Labo with the basic principles of science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics to inspire kids and to help make learning fun.
Great time to be a kid.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm really glad to hear them doing this too, because I've heard reports of like a handful of teachers trying or getting Labo specifically for their class, but to expand that even further and bring it to more schools and more kids, that's just wonderful.
Yeah, it's part of an official program, official part of the curriculum. It's definitely an easy way to get kids excited. I feel like we're in an era where Nintendo is a lot more exciting to children than they were like even a generation ago.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo Switch is hitting that level of appeal with children that I definitely did not see with Wii U and even like the second half of the Wii's life.
Right.
So yeah, it's perfect time for them to employ something like this. It's always good to see them apply their technology in more than one way. And what better way than education?
Imagine just walking into class one day and your teacher's like, okay, kids, today we're going to build the vehicle steering wheel. 3 hours of class, or like the piano. Just your whole day is just making the piano.
That'd be awesome. Like the equivalent to that for us when we were kids is when the teacher rolled in with the TV on the cart.
Magic School Bus. Well, actually, no, it was usually Bill Nye the Science Guy.
I never once watched Bill Nye the Science Guy in school.
Bill.
Seriously?
Bill.
Never.
I watched so much Bill Nye the Science Guy in school.
I had never seen one in school. Like the only reason I know who Bill Nye is because I had heard about it from other people. Like growing up, I had never seen it myself.
I'm sorry your education failed you.
I barely even got to see any Magic School Bus, even though looking back on the show, it's kind of bad. But that's neither here nor there. So moving on, a really interesting story for this week that I wanted to bring up, something that I was pretty happy to hear. Sega is delaying Team Sonic Racing until May 2019. Supposed
Take
to
that
come
time
out
to make a good game.
Do we know when it was originally supposed to come out?
December.
It was okay. So they're delaying this by like 5 months.
Yep.
Essentially.
I think May 21st is the release date right now.
Let
They
it
didn't want to
cook.
launch it anywhere near Smash Brothers, and I respect that decision.
Well, there's that, but let's read the official statement that Sega sent to IGN. Team Sonic Racing is the ultimate blend of arcade and fast-paced competitive style racing, featuring your favorite characters and environments from across the Sonic universe.
Favorite.
To deliver the highest quality experience to fans, Sega has decided to delay the launch of the title. During this time, Sega and Sumo Digital will continue to hone the title to enhance the player experience to ensure Team Sonic Racing delivers the best gameplay experience possible. I think it's very respectable that they made a decision like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, releasing alongside Smash Brothers was a death sentence as it is.
I mean, around that, like, my first instinct was they're trying to take the time to make the best game possible, and that I'm glad that they made that call, because a lot of developers would just say, "Well, we really need to get this out, so you're done."
Or we really need to get this out, so you're all gonna work 100-hour weeks.
I honestly just want this game to hold up to the Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing games, because if it can't do that, then it was a failure, in my opinion.
Well, there was a lot of discussion about Team Sonic Racing from people who've gotten their hands on it, and just the level of unpolish, and it's not super exciting, and just a lot of things didn't feel right.
Yeah, just let it cook. Let it cook.
I'm glad that Sega was able to recognize that and make this decision. And whether or not that's the honest reason, I'm going to choose to believe that's why.
Yeah.
So props to Sega for making that choice. Hopefully the next 5 or 6 months will be enough to make the game into something special that people can be excited about.
Yeah, I was about to say, even with an extra 5 months, there's no guarantees, But I really like this idea for a Team Sonic Racing game. The concept is really exciting to me. So if they can pull it off and make the necessary tweaks to make sure that the gameplay is just like super solid, like this is definitely something that is on my radar.
Hopefully this would-be have 5 becomes a 8.5 in the span of the time they're using to delay this game.
Yeah.
Were any of you guys considering picking this game up?
I was not.
I was considering it, but I hadn't thought about it because, again, there's so many other games, especially they announced Smash Ultimate like this year, right? So like pretty much everything is secondary to that game, and ones that rivaled it, have already come out, and I've beaten them. Things like God of War and Spider-Man, I've already been through those games. So now, literally, everything's on my mind. It's like, okay, when can I get back to playing Red Dead? And then once I finish Red Dead, it's just going to be smash, 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 and then that for an indeterminate amount of time afterwards,
Moving it to May is actually kind of a game changer for me because, right as of now, I don't know what else I'm buying in May anyway. So if I have the money, I'd probably be more likely to consider that. Or at least this December, there is definitely competition. There are games that I want that's coming out like the next few months that I don't know if I can pick up. And so, that would definitely get pushed back because it's not like a must for me, or it wasn't going to be a must. But now pushing that back, who knows? Especially if they add more polish to it. If it ends up being a great game, I might consider it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. It was something I was thinking about, but definitely not a priority title. But pushing it into the middle of next year with as much uncertainty as next year comes with, I'm definitely more open to picking the game up. Let's go into our final 2 stories for the week, and they're kind of tied together, but I'll start with the first one. Coming from Instagram. Specifically, what's this guy's name? Diego Cederberg. What is his name?
Diego.
Just Diego. That's what it says on Instagram.
Okay. Well, regardless, it's a set photo from the Monster Hunter movie, directed by Paul W. Anderson, right? Or Paul S. Anderson? I don't remember.
Something
Not to be confused with me. I'm not doing this.
Not to be confused with our
Don't
Paul
send me
Anderson.
hate.
Regardless, this picture features a dude dressed up in modern day armor, and he's carrying a rifle.
Ew.
Just the sigh.
I don't know.
Yep, that's a live action movie.
Like, the thought process is here. And obviously there was another post that we're going to talk about that they were like, oh, like, you know, we're going to have traditional Monster Hunter equipment in this Monster Hunter movie, but that doesn't really calm my fears regarding this film, you know? Like, I just feel like this is going to be more Hollywood trash. Because, like, I don't see, like, a reasonable narrative that is going to throw in some of these modern elements in here like this, you know?
Well, the narrative that we've known up to this point, at least, I'm assuming it's still the case, is that there are two separate worlds. One person from the modern present-day world that we exist in gets transported somehow to the world of the Monster Hunters to find out then that the monsters at some point are going to end up in the real world, and then has to learn how to become a monster hunter in order to stop the threat.
I mean, I guess his gun is not effective.
That would explain the gun, yeah. Well, the monster hunter in the movie, from what I understand, is actually played by Mila. It will be a female.
And I don't know, I think that's great. I mean, the little bit of the props and costume design, it looks cool. Like, I'll give them props for that part. I mean, maybe the whole idea is they're trying to draw that parallel between the fact that Monster Hunter it's a game series, right? And so, like, being the real world is us, right? And then us being, like, thrust into this game world, you know? But at the same time, like, I don't... Is it necessary that they acknowledge that part of it, or do they just tell a really compelling story in that world?
I feel
that's
like
what I'm torn on, and my current desire is that they would just make a movie set in the Monster Hunter universe, because there's probably some really cool narratives that they could be telling instead of doing something that to me seems undeniably cheesy.
It is an inherently, like, cheesy sounding plot, just from a baseline.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are on the same boat I'm in, which is they can do whatever they want as long as the monsters look very, very, very good. Like, they can have a guy with a rifle shooting at a Rathalos. I don't care. Make the Rathalos look amazing.
And we've seen test footage of monsters in the past. We saw Rathalos and Gormagala, and in my opinion, they looked great. We don't know, like, if that's going to stay true, because that was years ago at this point.
Right.
It is worth noting that Paul claims to be a massive fan of Monster Hunter, a true fan.
I do.
He says he's been trying to make this movie for the last 10 years.
And I don't disbelieve that, but I mean, just because he's a fan doesn't mean he's not going to screw this up, you know? And here's the thing, as I hope it's a good movie. I hope it's a stellar movie. But, like, that remains to be seen. And
if I can at least get some cool Monster Hunter fights in live action that look nice, if I at least get that out of the movie, it'll have been worth it for me.
We gotta see what a Palico looks like.
True. I think this is a reference to Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, where you can fight the Rathalos, but with, like, guns. That's what that is. Calling it now.
He's a true fan.
It's like
exactly. all the references.
That confirmation bias, trying to find any way possible that this movie could be good.
I mean, like Logan said, no one wants this movie to be bad. We all Like you never want a movie to be bad. You want to go and enjoy yourself, but
Right. We should also mention the second picture that's uploaded to Instagram on Milla's Instagram herself. It comes with the following caption, and I'll describe the picture after the fact. It says, Captain Natalie Artemis, Ranger, Monster Hunter. Just a little peek for all the Monster Hunter World fans out there who were worried the other day. Here is Captain Artemis wearing a slinger on her arm. I will also post a pic at some point of the incredible Monster Hunter weapons we've recreated for the movie. And if you look at the image, it's her wearing some very like medieval kind of Monster Hunter styled armor, and then she's holding up the slinger. And the slinger itself is incredibly accurate to the actual design from Monster Hunter World. That instilled just the tiniest itty bitty piece of hope in my heart.
Honestly, this doesn't calm my fears about the film,
and it doesn't calm mine either.
I mean, it's nice to know that kind of stuff is there, but this is the baseline, right? It's like if this wasn't here, I would have lost all hope for the film altogether, right?
Well,
but then I already had faith that this kind of stuff
is that Paul Anderson is also responsible for the Resident Evil movies, which, you know, they deviate incredibly from the actual Resident Evil series. They do borrow a lot of elements.
Right. But I think with Monster Hunter, because there's never been like a super solid narrative in any of the Monster Hunter games, there's not like a cohesive story across the games. It's just like, here is a world, right? And so they're going to have a lot more freedom in that. You know, you're not trying to recreate.
Yeah, their canvas is kind of blank right now.
Right. So, I mean, at least there's that. I don't know. I'm just uber skeptical of this film still.
Well, I'm happy that they've at least said that they'll show us some more pictures of some actual Monster Hunter stuff in the next couple days. I'm hoping by next week's Nintendo Stuff podcast, we'll have seen like some great swords or some charge blades, just some classic Monster Hunter weapons, you know, based off of specific monsters that actually exist in the series.
Yeah.
If I see a cool Rathalos greatsword, I'll say, hey, that's a cool Rathalos greatsword. I hope it's a good movie. I'm not anticipating the world with this movie, but I want it to at least be decent.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the hope with video game movies in general. It's like, oh man, it's based on a video game property. Let's hope it's not bad.
And don't forget, in May, we have Detective Pikachu coming out. We still haven't seen any video of that at all.
Though I have a little bit more faith for that, just given the nature of that game in general.
So do I, yeah.
So... And I mean, it's definitely going to be geared towards children. And so even then it's like, they can just be silly and get away with a lot of things. And so, Detective
We also
Pikachu
have Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu, which that's fantastic.
Honestly, that's going to carry the film. Just seeing Ryan Reynolds Pikachu.
And then also we have the Sonic the Hedgehog movie coming out next year.
Oh, please, no. Jim Carrey, stop.
I'm fine with Jim Carrey. I don't care about that at all.
Oh, man.
In fact, I was very happy to hear about that. But boy, just the live-action Sonic the Hedgehog movie, huh? With CGI characters.
That can't possibly go bad.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
What are you talking? It'll only be good. It can only possibly be good.
If that movie is good, I will eat my hat.
I hope you eat your hat.
I'm gonna go see that movie in theaters, and we'll just see what happens. I'll tell you guys. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the news. We're 3 weeks straight without anything of like super significance happening in the Nintendo sphere outside of this whole leak discussion. But you know, as I've said, and I'll reiterate, we're entering the holiday season for Nintendo. They don't have to tell us anything because they're pretty much set through the end of the year, and they don't want to talk about next year until they get all those, you know, those Christmas sales, those holiday sales.
Yeah, we won't hear anything until maybe December, maybe like the end of January. other than something about Smash, right? It's just going to be Smash until the year's out.
And honestly, like that's all what Nintendo fans want to hear about right now. At least a good amount of them.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that carries us through the end of the year. BTA83 says, I just hope they won't mess up another video game movie to the degree of the Assassin's Creed film. Yeah, I agree with you, Conman. We do need less live-action game movies and more animated ones. I have an incredible amount of confidence in the Super Mario Brothers movie right now.
All right, that's what I'm saying, man.
I would be surprised if the Super Mario Brothers movie is anything above like a 6 out of 10. Or anything below a 6 out of 10, excuse me.
I'm confident for that.
Hopefully we see something for that like next year. We did just get confirmation, I think today, that Mario will not be in Wreck-It Ralph 2 at all.
Oof.
Nope.
Yeah, kind of sad.
How much you want to bet that was like they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna get Mario in it, and then Nintendo was like, never mind because we're already making a Mario movie.
See, I think it's actually they didn't get Sora for Smash, so they didn't give Mario for Wreck-It Ralph. It's only fair.
Only fair. To everyone in the chat asking about our opinions on the Grinch leak for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, we've got Rewind feature enabled here on the channel, so you can go back and check out that discussion. We've already had it, but we talked for a solid hour about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and the Grinch leak. But this video will stay up as soon as the live stream ends, so you can definitely rewind to catch all of that. Conman, where can people find you?
Yeah, they can find me at ConMenRDW on YouTube, and also Mario Party Animal on Twitter. And also I have a Facebook page, ConMenRDW on Facebook. And yeah, those are all my places. It's going great over there.
You'll find links to his YouTube channel and Twitter account, both in the description below. So make sure you check all that out. You can follow me at Babababs on Twitter, follow Paul at Gunnysaurus, follow Logan at LoggyDoves, or you can follow us as a collective at Breakroom Arcade. If you came to this video because you watched our 50 fact extravaganza for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, thank you so much for all of your love and support for that video. We spent a lot of time on it. It's been great to see you guys having a good time with it. If you want to talk to us more and hang out with us a little bit, we have a link to our Discord server in the description. I'm pretty much in there like 24/7. So, if you want to chat, talk about video games, or just talk about whatever, definitely check us out in there.
Fun place.
If you want, we can also keep discussing the leak in the Discord. We do have a private leak channel. If you want access to that, you just have to ask one of the mods, and we can get you in there. Let's see. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. That would definitely help us out. We've seen a lot of new people in the last couple days, so join the legion of break roomies. We're happy to have you.
Yeah, if you're having fun in the chat, it's been pretty active chat all stream too. So continue the conversation in the Discord for sure.
And then with all of that, make sure to check us out again next Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central Time for the next episode of Nintendo Stuff. We are hoping that we have some official Super Smash Bros. News to talk about next week. So stick around to hear about all the things that we have to say about that. And then on Monday, we have the Breakdown podcast, where we talk about all the movies, TV, anime, and other video games that we experienced over the last week. That is also at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, so definitely check that out as well. And I think that's everything that I had to plug. Plug.
You did it, Brandon.
I did it. Thanks
I
so
know
much.
you're good.
Can't wait to play as every Fire Emblem character, especially Richter.
Wait a minute.
All right. With all that in mind, guys, don't break your backs. Breaking the games. But for now, break time's over.
It's been good, y'all.